Well, see you guys, and
when you're down at the bottom.
smoke me a kipper. I'll be back for breakfast.
That is Urta Ala volcano, the oldest known lava lake on the planet. Just there.
You think you've got spot problems, but all the way along the top of this lava skin, you can see these big, rippled up spot-like features. You've got broken crusts of the skin of the lava. These are literally the zits of the lava world. All the way along this top surface, you've got these little pock marks pushing their way through. This is overpressured lava pushing up through the skin, just like a spot on the top of the skin surface of the lava, and it erupts and pours a little bit of lava out, and that's your spot gone.
When the ruins were first excavated, a mere 15 bodies were found.
Many people thought that was because they could see the eruption early on and were able to escape. But when they dug down further, here to the shoreline and to these boat houses, this is where they found the truth. It's hard to imagine what it must have been like. Over 300 men, women and children here at the water's edge in Herculaneum. Here the boat houses providing shelter from the falling volcanic debris. And it was these boat houses that were going to become the final resting place of their tomb in Herculaneum.
The mass grave is treated like a crime scene. Photographic evidence is taken back to the laboratory for further investigation.
Here we have a body that sat up against the boathouse wall in Herculaneum, and in the arms of this adult is a child. And they're sat there almost as though they were relaxing or resting against the wall. It's almost as though you could be sat there chatting with this person and then they've been killed.
There are further clues to be found in the fine detail of the victim's bones.
At the end of many of the bones, you see this blackened coloration. And this can be seen on many of the examples in Herculaneum. And it really seems to occur at the points, like here at a sort of elbow joint, the points on the body where there's very little flesh and the bone is very, very close to the surface. I'm going to recreate the one experiment that unlocked what happened at Herculaneum.
Dr. Jerram is burning several pig bones at increasingly superheated temperatures.
I'm going to rack up the temperatures, start to try and burn the flesh on the bones, and then hopefully get to the point where I can start to produce blackening of the bones and reproduce the colours that we see in the Herculaneum bone deposits.
It is not until Dr. Jerram raises the temperature to 900 degrees that the bone itself is burnt.
Well, it finally looks like we've got somewhere where we're starting to burn the bone. Here on this picture from Herculaneum, you can see on the end of this bone these brown into black transitions with some nice white bone behind. You know, this is exactly what we're seeing in the 900-degree experiment. So we can produce the blackened bone features that we see at Herculaneum with high temperatures, burning the bone that's exposed, but the bone that's covered by a bit of flesh gets protected and stays white. And this could be the only way in which we get these blackened bone features at Herculaneum. Well, we're walking through what can only be described as a sort of human-sized hairdryer, and this is the fire wind that we've all been talking about, but obviously it's at night time, so it's a bit cooler. And the reason why we haven't just stopped to camp is because this area is a little bit unsafe. There's no shelter, there's no water provisions, and also there's some rebels in the area. I'm just really, really glad I phoned ahead for the penthouse suite. I'm going to look forward to that tonight, I tell you. We're hoping to see something which is very visual from the ground up. We know that this particular fissure was involved in also a small volcanic eruption, so there should be good evidence of essentially the ground just breaking apart underneath our feet. To think this has happened, excuse me, I'm out of breath actually with excitement at this stage. To think this happened overnight, this is the stuff of Hollywood. When you're a kid and you see those movies of streets breaking apart, this would have just opened up and ejected a whole heap of magma. This is just phenomenal. I really hope we can get some really good stuff out of this, because having got here now, I wish we could stay 3-4 days, maybe even a week. This is just geologic heaven. Oh, this is fantastic.
There are only a few hours of daylight left for Dougal to make his scan, but at least all the kit has now finally arrived.
This unit here fires millions and millions of laser points in a 360 direction to build up a complete 3D picture of the landscape around it. The final thing we need to do is to fit a camera to the top, and what we'll do is we'll take high-resolution digital photographs, and the computer software will then be able to merge the picture with the scan, and that's when things get really exciting. The lava lake must go up and down like a piston as it gets refilled with magma periodically and then emptied. And when it fills to the top of the lower crater, it'll spill over and form these lovely brand new lava flows. And you can just see it really is virgin lava flow.
If Urterale suddenly decides that today is the day for an eruption, there would be no time to escape. But that's not the only danger.
As you can imagine, just everywhere along this is riddled with holes and hollows that our feet can just fall through at a moment's notice.
Luckily, Dougal has a thermal imaging camera to help plot his path.
It's quite hard to see in this sunlight, but there's a nice image. You can see the lines of the cracks, and if we just focus our spot height on them, you can see some of those spot heights are in excess of 100 degrees centigrade. Scan, we nailed it, so the scan's in the bag.
That's pretty good.
Hats off to the volcano, and nice one, Michael. Cheers, mate. Excellent.
Woo!
Getting the scanner equipment out here has been one of our major goals. We've traipsed it over the whole of the Afar Triangle with camels, with 4x4s, with stuck 4x4s, with camels on strike, and to come away now knowing that we've pretty much nailed the first ever scan of Urterale in high resolution 3D that we'll be able to view. It's going to be superb.